Hey guys, Chris with Tillman Family Farms. So it's Labor Day 2024. First of all, I'd like to start off by thanking everybody out there that has a job. Take a break. Have a nice Labor Day. I'm off today and I am here at the farm and I have no idea what the heck I'm going to do. But I thought I'd bring you guys along and hang out with me. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on with our pond. I'm guessing this is pollen. I'm guessing we've got something that is kicking off a ton of pollen. It's got to be what this is. We haven't had a ton of rain here lately, so this pond is way low, and it is it's been like this for probably, man, two weeks. It's just had this yellow film over top. It's got to be pollen. I'm just not sure what it is that's kicking off pollen right now, but anyway, I'm gonna flip this thing around and show y'all how bad this is down. We had a ton of rain earlier this year, so for the year we're still ahead rainfall wise, but for the last, oh gosh, probably month or so, we have not had enough rain around here for nothing. And as I walk here in a minute, I got to walk to the back pasture. I'm trying to get some exercise in, but anyhow, as I walk to the back pasture, we'll look at the grasses and all that kind of stuff, and we'll talk about some scares that we had that turned out not to be true, and we'll just go from there. So you can see right here, so this is the actual bank. So it drops off about 1.5 feet right there. And then you see how far out the water is. You can see it really good right through there. But you see it's gotta be what that is, pollen. Gotta be. So I don't know if I'll be able to zoom in enough on it. Oh yeah, see right there in the middle, there's the overflow pipe for when the water gets high. Normally that's how we tell how far the water's down in this little pond. That is about, oh God, it's gotta be over 2 feet low. So anyhow, I'm gonna walk down here to this pasture right over there behind the pond. We had one horse going back and forth through there a little bit, and that thing is tall as it can be. Let's go check it out. All right, so this pasture, this is not a very big pasture. If this is 2.5 to 3 acres, so there's a fence right over there. So if this is 2.5, 3 acres behind this pond here, I'd be shocked. But I'm kind of, this is gonna kind of be a winter stockpile. I mean, you really can't see how much this is. The old horse feed trough right there is kind of telling a little bit, but all right through there, man. That's probably up to my waist, if I had to say. And of course, you could see over there with that fence behind it, how tall that looks. And then it's just kind of a lot of the same all down through here. It's just nice and tall. I'd really like for this to get some rain a couple of times before we go into winter. It's not much of a winter stockpile for cows, but we also don't have that many cows right now. But man, look at that stuff. I'm not good at identifying what species of grass and weed and all that kind of stuff, but like this is where we had round bells last year, and that just put down a nice layer of stuff. I've let my dam get a little out of control. All this stuff growing up in here this past year after the heart attack it's kind of slowed me down a good bit, and I haven't done quite as much. I'm getting back there. Doctor doesn't think I'm getting back there, but I'm getting back there. Anyhow, let's go out in the big pasture, take a look around. That's where the cows have been. We opened them up to a small pasture in the back this week, so we're gonna go back there and close that off, and I'm gonna talk about it and tell you why I'm gonna keep them out of there for the rest of the year, and what we're gonna do with it. This will kind of give you an idea of how tall this stuff is. I mean, a lot of this stuff is up around my knees and a little higher. So it's pretty old thick over here, man. This is some good stuff. Good stuff. So last year we practiced grazing. We were putting up electric wire and pushing them where we wanted to, but oh shoot, look at this. So they've eaten this patch right here, and then they walked over and they ate this little patch right here. But then let's get down in that patch and see what all they skipped. So you see how they just nipped it all off down here low? And then you go right there and it's just tall all over again. So they just kind of go through, and then wherever they're at, they'll just stop and get them a little something, and they'll keep on going. And then you end up, I mean, it's gonna be really hard to tell it, but like that area has been done that way, over there, right here. I mean, you can just kind of follow it. So they don't graze it all down. And then what happens is they come out when it's cooler during the day, morning or late afternoon, and they'll graze these spots like this, and then they go back over there in the woods or up under some of these trees, and they drop their manure over there. So you don't get the benefit of the manure concentrated in an area when you just kind of let them go. If I had to say, this is 20-ish acres, maybe a little more in this field, and for 9 cows or 8 cows, it's just too much. Needless to say, the problem that I had last year was that we ended up buying about $6,000 worth of hay to feed horses feed cows and horses for about 2 months longer than we normally do. And the reason for that is because we had a little bit of a drought going into the winter, and we just didn't have anything for them to graze. We had no winter stockpile. We had 22 head of cows out here, the horses, and 2 donkeys, and it was just too much. Even, you know, going around and really managing it. So we don't have that problem this year. A lot of grass. All right, the back pasture. So we're here at the gate. Let me turn you around. So there's a fence line here that goes all the way to those woods. And then we'll do this, try not to get you drunk. There's another fence line that goes all the way through the woods to the property line, which is another fence. I think that this is probably, the whole fenced area is probably about, I don't know, 3.5, 4 acres, something like that. It's only from where I'm standing at the gate to the back fence. If it's 50 yards wide, I would be amazed. Probably, I don't know, 350, 400 yards long. So I guess we could do some quick math on that, but anyhow, so really hadn't had them in here much this year. Maybe early in the spring I had them in here, so I did a short video last week of letting them in, and they were really excited because I hadn't seen a gate open in a while, and horses and donkeys and everybody came running when they saw us getting it opened up. So they hadn't heard it much either. So this, if I can keep this like this, what this may end up being is another kind of winter stockpile type deal. I'm closing the gate today, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. But if I can keep it looking like it is now, it doesn't get very cold here. It just doesn't. And some of this stuff will kind of, you know, die off and be a little bit dormant. But it will also be something that they can come in here and get after a little bit. So I'm gonna turn this around, show you what we got going on. I mean, you can see behind me, it's is almost as tall as that other stuff. But let me turn this around and I'll start talking to you about what we are gonna do back here. All right, so you can see right there, and as we move this way, all right in this area is scalped like a putting green. Like when we let them in the gate that day, I'm sure that they all just stayed right there and just mowed it down, buddy. But we'll be able to walk through here and find places just like we did out in the pasture. But for the most part, it's really, it's nice and tall back here. Which this pasture back here has struggled in the past a little bit because we haven't done much management on the ground as far as getting some nutrient back into it. So we pressed cows into this, hang on, sorry. We pressed cows into this section with an electric wire from the fence, or from the gate post back there last year. And we concentrated some manure. We did some rollouts back here, fixed some spots that were bare clay. You can tell right here. So there were a lot of areas like this where the topsoil was just really thin. So we worked on places like that. But this area we hunt out of. So it's September and deer season is coming. We may even do a dove shoot or two back here, but we normally sit in that stand and enjoy some leisure time and hunt deer back here. Started working on a little section over here, breaking the ground a little bit to put a little bit of a food plot in, so we'll do that over the next couple of days, get that in. And from there, we come out here and we sit and wait. You can see it right down through there. I don't want to break it completely, just break it enough to where we can get some seed started. I got a deer feeder right there that the cows love to knock over when they're in here. But that's what we're gonna do back here. I'm gonna walk way down there and make sure there's not any cows in here, and then I'm gonna close this thing up and get out of here. All right, so we're all closed up back here. Got the gate closed, no cows back here. I'm gonna walk the whole rest of this. I think the cows are up by the pond. We're just gonna go up there and get a good look at them, and you know, kind of talk a little bit more about the difference in the pasture this year versus years past, and the situations that have been different, and what we might do and what we might not do. I don't know. It's just a little different for us this year than it was last year. We were stressing about how to keep everybody fed, and this year we just look out the window and wave at the cows. So let's go check them out and see what they got going on. There they are. They're like, hey, why are you sneaking up on me? Oh man. They wait till I get 30 yards from them before they pick their heads up. All right, so this is a little bit. She looks really, really good. You see all the, I don't know if you can see that or not, all those lines on her neck, nice and fat. And this guy is hamburger steak. Hey guys. So a little bit is mama cow, and betting that by his name you can tell what he is. She's an up and comer over there. Look out, baby, I got to walk by you. That is a young heifer. And then we have some other guys hiding over there under the trees. And then of course the old crazy donkeys that, not sure what they do. All right, so this is a perfect example of what I was talking about with managing where they graze. So this is in our tree line over here, and you can tell by the dirt how much time they spend right over here next to the water. But I mean, look at all this manure that's just concentrated right here, because they've been out in the pasture, they're eating, and then all of a sudden, once they get over here, their system has a movement and pushes and cycles things through while they're over here resting in the shade, because they're not spending the time out there in the pasture. So, you know, this is part of managing where your fertilizer goes back in the ground. And if you're not doing that and you have big areas like this is what's happening. They're taking a dudage in the woods and not in the grass. So these are the rest of the guys. So I'm betting that she's in heat. That is a young bull. We left him intact. We did some things last year with cows that we thought we were doing the right thing. We got rid of a bunch of bred cows, and we got rid of our bull thinking we were going to buy in stocker calves for business purposes, and man, did we make a bad decision. The price of cows went through the roof, and we were kind of stuck not knowing what we were really going to do. So we're kind of in limbo right this minute. We have plenty of beef for ourselves and a few for the farm business, but you can tell by the way these cows look. I mean, look at that guy right there. So he's got a date to ride a trailer here real soon too. So I mean, you can look at him. So this old girl, she never recovers well. She gets wormed and all kinds of stuff, and well, I'm gonna tell you what, you're not supposed to be doing that. It's supposed to be the other way around. You're the girl. Anyhow, maybe that's why they're over here instead of out eating. They're interested in something a little other than food right this minute. Let's not make a video like that. This, her name is Cafe. She is a red Angus that likes to stand in the water, and she has no tail. Anyhow, just a little update on the cows and the situation that we're in and our pasture and all that kind of stuff. So what does all this mean, you ask? You know, we have big sections of this pasture out here that even when we were rotating with electric wire, we were a little worried because we didn't have a lot of shade in those areas. And that's what these cows are doing in these really hot summer months, is they're grazing early and they're grazing late, and they're trying to find shade throughout the middle of the day, and probably even grazing into the night, if I had to say. But you know, what's going to happen with this out here is that we'll end up clipping these pastures, and that is going to add material back to the ground that's going to help with fertilization. You know, anytime you just simply cut and let the organic material go back in the ground, you're doing the ground great. There's probably still a lot of things that are missing in that they would be getting from manure and urine and everything else as they go through. But in this situation, they're getting a little bit of it here and there. The horses seem to still graze out through there during the day, and it doesn't really bother them. Horses are kind of crazy. They'll stand out there and be pouring sweat grazing in the middle of the blistering heat, and they don't mind one bit. But anyhow, this is just the result and the difference from last year to this year. Had a lot of rain this year early, very little rain last year late, so everything picked back up. We got rid of a bunch of cows, and the few that are here with the horses and the donkeys cannot keep up with this. So I have a feeling that we're going to have a really good winter stockpile, even in the area that they're grazing constantly. So what that's going to equal to us is a whole lot of savings in hay cost over the winter, and hopefully coming into spring, everything's just going to pick right back up good. We'll concentrate our rollouts in areas that are still bad, bare dirt, thin layers of topsoil and all that kind of stuff. We'll still work on that. And when you do that, you concentrate manure there, because they stand there and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat, and then they poop. So good stuff there. But anyhow, that's where we're at with this big pasture. Just thought I would share some of that information and our experiences with that over this past year. All right, guys, that's going to be it for this one. I'm going to leave a link down in the description to our Starkline netting link. You can get 10% off if you go through the link. We've had that relationship with them for a long time. If you're interested in electric netting, electric solar chargers, or anything like that, you can always go to that link and look at all the products that they have and get a discount on anything that they've got if you use the link. So, but anyway, we appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't done so, please go down and like and subscribe and ring that bell so you'll see all the videos we put out. We will see you on the next video.